It amazes me how incredibly stupid the Republican Party really is, considering the circumstances. Yesterday, they did their oversight committee hearing on Dr. Anthony Fauci, the de facto leader of the response for the COVID-19 pandemic, and the number one target of the Republican Party to try to cover up the fact that their dear leader, Donald Trump, completely and totally screwed up the COVID-19 response. No, in fact, he didn't screw it up. He completely nuked the son of a bitch, telling people to inject themselves with bleach and disinfectant, saying that the COVID-19 pandemic will end by spring, which it did not, and ended with the death of millions, and the Republican Party breaking their backs trying to protect Donald Trump from his missteps. But instead of an informative, investigative committee hearing, what we got was nothing more than a three-ring circus. And honestly, guess who was the ringmaster? The bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body. Of course, I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And quite honestly, it was a complete and total joke. First, she refuses to respect Dr. Fauci's title, obviously being the insulting bitch that she is. Then, she threatens him with prison because she's doing everything she can to protect her dear leader, Donald Trump. And, by the way, she failed. Obviously, she's a failure, too. But what I really wanted to focus on was the end of that entire hearing, when a member of the press asked her outside the chambers about Jamie Raskin's comment about convicted felons. This is what he said specifically.
I joined my colleague from Florida in apologizing to you that some of our colleagues in the United States House of Representatives seem to want to drag your name through the mud. They're treating you, Dr. Fauci, like a convicted felon. Actually, you probably wish they were treating you like a convicted felon. They treat convicted felons with love and admiration. Some of them blindly worship convicted felons.
I honestly don't see a single thing wrong with what Jamie Raskin said right there, because all of it is 100% accurate. They spend more time defending Donald Trump than they do doing their jobs as congressmen and senators, because one, they're weak. Two, they think they're going to get a good pat on the head or an endorsement on Truth Social from Trump. And three, obviously, is because they think they can jockey their position up to become their running mate in the next election. In either case, in all cases, it's all pathetic. But this is how Marjorie Taylor Greene chooses to respond to those words from Jamie Raskin.
It's what we know to be a fact. It's all the evidence has been proven true. We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon. Well, yeah, so is George Floyd. And everybody, and you all too, the media worship George Floyd. Democrats worship George Floyd. There were riots burning down the fucking country over George Floyd, and Raskin is in there saying we worship him. Excuse me, let me correct you, and this is really important. I don't worship, I worship God. God. And Jesus is my savior. I don't worship President Trump. And I'm really sick and tired of the bullshit annex I have to deal with constantly from the Democrats. So that's what we just went through in there. And then they're sitting there, they can attack my character all day long. What's his face in there, whoever was talking last was calling me insane. But yet we can't say, oh, they're attacking my character. Oh no, it's nonstop BS and annex. You want to know why? The Democrats don't have anything. They're responsible for the lockdowns, forced vaccinations, kids being forced to stay home, people committing suicide, and all the horrors that this country lived through during COVID. Fauci belongs in prison. He should be tried for mass murder, and he should be tried for crimes against humanity. That's how I feel after that hearing. That's how the American people feel.
First things first, you stupid, ugly fucking bitch. We didn't worship George Floyd. None of us did. George Floyd was in a long line of unfortunate people that were murdered by police brutality, by an overzealous, possibly racist police officer. The evidence against him was completely overwhelming. Now again, I will say this again in case you're too fucking stupid to understand this, Green. I spoke out against the riots in 2020. I believe the riots were incredibly wrong. But here's a little piece of information that you obviously are too stupid to understand. A lot of the people who did the rioting were actually right-wing nut jobs trying to agitate these riots just for the sake of trying to push political opinion against George Floyd and those who did the rioting. So a lot of the violent rioting was actually done by people on your side, Green. Nice try, by the way. And again, George Floyd was no angel. We know that. We know that he was a criminal. We know that. However, Derek Chauvin was supposed to be the police officer. There's a difference. The moment he decided to put his knee on George Floyd's neck for over 10 minutes, he became a criminal. He ceased being a police officer and became a criminal. And yes, you do worship Donald Trump. I mean, I have never seen a cult of personality like this ever before in my entire life. Donald Trump was just convicted of 34 felony counts against him in New York. He's facing 3 other trials that should send him to prison for the rest of his life. And you still support him. You guys are sending millions of dollars to the man. And quite honestly, if that's not worship, I don't know what to call it. But the fact is, you're not going to act like a banshee in there. Your job is to represent the American people, not just one particular American who happens to be a felon. So you can scream, you can curse us all you want to, Mary Jean. But in the end of the day, Donald Trump is a convicted felon. And at the end of the day, you are breaking your back trying to protect him. And to me, that is pathetic. And as for your screams of trying to send Anthony Fauci, Dr. Fauci into prison, bring it, you stupid bitch. Because it gives all of us another chance to see the true failing of the COVID-19 response. And it's not Anthony Fauci, it's your master, your God, Donald Trump. And I think it's pretty damn pathetic that you were breaking your back trying to defend him while you're not doing the business of government, the business you were elected to do. But I guess that doesn't matter to you. Doing your job doesn't matter. Do yourself a favor. Resign from office, go get back in the gym, and maybe you might have a career as a bodybuilder. But honestly, I think you're way too fucking ugly to be a bodybuilder. And some of the bodybuilding women that I've seen over the years, they're ugly. But compared to your ugly ass, Green, they're attractive. You're a failure as a congresswoman. You're a failure as a human being. Fuck, I don't even know if I can call you an American anymore with all the shit you've done. You took a fact-finding mission and turned it into a fox hunt. You destroyed whatever faith anyone has in in Congress, in the American government, all because you want to be Donald Trump's new whore. It isn't even about being vice president anymore. It's about being Donald Trump's whore. And quite honestly, it is pathetic. You put yourself in the middle of all this, all so you can be his vice president. That's not worth it. In my eyes, that is just not worth it. But it saddens me even more that you claim that you want to work for the American people, but all you've done and all you and the rest of the MAGA have done have shown me that you don't care about the American people. It's a shame that we have to suffer through this bullshit. While Americans, here's the joke to this. You keep claiming that Americans don't have enough money to afford food or gasoline or medicine. And yet, what have you done to help the American people? The answer is, you've done nothing. All you've done is try to save Donald Trump's ass. Well, unfortunately, Donald Trump's ass is about to go to a prison cell or house arrest. Because quite honestly, and as much as you want to scream, huff, and holler, especially call people everything in the world, you racist bitch, it's not going to help him. The fall of Trump is coming. Your fall has just begun. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.